Hello, my karmically connected friend. What if I told you that the peace you are frantically searching for outside has actually always been present within you all along? In this bustling modern world, most of us live like trapped travelers. Our minds are torn between two extremes, one half dragged by the burdens of the past, the other trembling before the terrifying scenarios of the future. We forget a simple truth. The present is the only place where life truly happens. Anxiety is like straining to carry an invisible rock on your shoulders, a burden that inherently does not belong to you. It silently drains your energy, blurs your clarity, and obscures your inner freedom. But according to the teachings of the Buddha, that peace has never been lost. It is just being covered by the noise of control and fear in the mind. When we learn to let go of the need to control everything, natural stillness will arise. Today, we will walk together through 7 timeless lessons from Buddhist wisdom. This is not a way to escape life, but a method to help you face it with clarity, courage, and serenity. If you are feeling exhausted by endless worries, these teachings might very well be the door to liberation you have been waiting for. Lesson 1. Finding peace in the present moment. There is a liberating truth you need to engrave in your heart. Anxiety cannot exist in the present moment. It only lives in the mind's projections about the future. Observe how your mind operates when anxious. It is like a tragedy film director, constantly setting up frightening scenes about what could happen, what could go wrong. At that time, your body is sitting here, but your mind has fled to a future that does not yet exist to solve imaginary troubles. So the moment you feel your chest tighten with fear, stop and ask yourself, where is my mind right now? Gently bring it back. Return to the breath entering and leaving. Return to the feeling of your feet touching the ground. Right here and now, you are safe. You are steady, and you already have all the conditions necessary to be at peace. That is mindfulness, the gentle practice of returning to the now. Every time you pull your mind back to the present, the anxiety monster loses its power. Remember, peace is not something to search for. It is something for us to recall. It has always lain quietly there, waiting for you, right beneath the noisy layer of wandering thoughts. Lesson 2. The seed of fear. Have you ever wondered why the more you fear something, the more likely it seems to come true? Imagine your mind is like an incredibly fertile piece of land. That land is very fair. It does not judge whether the seed you sow is good or bad. If you sow the seed of peace, it will bloom. But if you sow the seed of fear, that land will also diligently nurture it to grow into a dense forest. When you nurture fear, it is no longer just an emotion. It becomes a lens dominating all your actions. For example, if you sow the seed of fear of losing your job, anxiety will turn confidence into hesitation, turn clarity into doubt. That timid attitude inadvertently leads you closer to the failure you fear. Or in relationships, the fear of abandonment makes you either cling too tightly or withdraw for defense. That very action creates distance, pushing your loved one away. Remember, you are the gardener of your mind. Next time when a fearful thought sprouts, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this thought bringing peace or deepening fear? You have the right to choose which seed to water. Choose to sow trust and presence instead of fear. Lesson 3. The power of letting go. In the modern world, we are often programmed with the belief that strength equals control. We believe that to be safe and successful, we must grasp everything tightly in our hands, from time, work results, to the emotions of those around us. We tense up, strive more, calculate more carefully, with the fear that if we let go, everything will collapse. But the wisdom of awakening opens a completely different perspective. True strength lies not in holding tight, but in the courage to let go. Letting go or surrender in Buddhism is absolutely not weakness, passivity, or giving up. It is an act of supreme clarity. It is when you stop the illusion that this small self can control the entire great flow of the universe. You realize that you can only do wholeheartedly what is within your capacity at this moment, and then you step back to let life reveal the answer in its own way. Contemplate this metaphor. You are trying to hold water in your palm. If, out of fear of losing water, you use all your strength to clench your hand into a fist, the water will slip through your fingers and flow away. The more force you use, the more you lose. But if you relax, gently open your palm, the water will stay, still, full, and complete. Letting go is those open hands, soft but firm. When you dare to put down the burden of control, a huge source of energy previously consumed by stress will return to nourish you. The mind becomes clear. You begin to see paths and support that have always been there, which anxiety had previously obscured. At this time, life begins to flow with you instead of against you. Remember, the door to freedom and inner peace is always open, but the key is not straining, but trust. Lesson 4. The freedom of trusting life. There is an important proposition you need to realize to liberate yourself. Control and faith cannot walk the same road. The more you try to cling to control, the further you move away from trust. Imagine you are driving. You cannot grip the steering wheel with white-knuckled hands out of fear, while simultaneously saying you trust the road will take you to your destination safely. The tension of your hands betrays the fear in your heart. The need to micromanage every tiny detail in life is essentially a hidden voice full of insecurity. I don't trust that life will take care of me. If I am negligent for a second, everything will collapse. That control is not born of strength. It is born of fear. And the price to pay for it is exhaustion. It does not bring peace. It only creates chronic fatigue. So what is faith in Buddhism? It is not passivity, sitting still and ignoring everything. True faith says, I have done what I can. Now I trust the unfolding. This is the concept of release of attachment. You act with clarity, but you let go of the need to force everything to happen exactly according to the script in your head. Look at the image of a gardener sowing seeds. You can choose good seeds, water, fertilize, and weed. That is your part, but you cannot use your hands to pull the seedling up to force it to grow faster. Germination and growth depend on the roots, the soil, and the rhythm of time. If you try to force it, the plant will die. Ask your heart right now, am I holding everything so tight that I no longer know how to breathe? Am I trying to force the future to happen to the point of no longer trusting the natural wisdom of life? Letting go is not giving up. It is the shift of energy from the state of forcing to the state of trusting. And it is on the foundation of trust that true peace can sprout. Lesson 5. Letting go of imagined fears. My dear friend, there is a famous saying, much of what burdens us never truly happens. The greatest burden in your life is not the reality before your eyes, but the stories woven by your own mind. Observe the cycle of anxiety. How many nights have you stayed awake just to rehearse harsh dialogues in your head? Dialogues that never took place. How many times have you prepared your mind for a disaster, a failure, or a rejection? Those fears about the future are like invisible stones. You pick them up every morning, fill your pockets, and carry them everywhere. No one sees them, but they make your steps heavy and drain your vitality. Why do we do this? Because the human mind is a talented but pessimistic storyteller. It constantly writes thousands of drafts with the theme, "What bad things could happen?" The mind thinks it is protecting you by preparing for the worst-case scenario, but in reality, it is imprisoning you in the jail of stress. Look back at your own real experiences. How many times have you imagined the worst scenario, heart pounding, legs trembling, only for the event to actually arrive much gentler and simpler than you thought? How many times did the conversation you dreaded end with a handshake or understanding? Anxiety has a dangerous characteristic. It magnifies possibility into certainty. It tells you that could happen means will definitely happen. But you need to remember well, thought is not fact. To escape this illusion, every time anxiety rises, practice this method. First, pause and breathe deeply. Then ask yourself a sharp question. Is this actually happening right now, right here? Or is it just an image in my head? When you realize you are fighting a shadow, the war will automatically end. The burden on your shoulders will drop. Return to this breath, to this room. You will realize that life, right in this moment, is often much gentler and kinder than what fear whispers to you. Lesson 6. Growth begins with letting go. My dear friend, observe carefully the process of anxiety in your life. It usually doesn't rush in like a storm, but creeps silently like a vine. Initially, it appears under the fancy name of caution. You add a little hesitation before deciding, a little precautionary calculation, a little reluctance before new opportunities. But gradually, those small bricks of reluctance connect, forming solid walls surrounding you. What is the consequence? You are living in a cage of your own making. Because of fearing risks, you shrink your great dreams to fit the comfort zone. Because of fearing judgment, you keep silent instead of speaking up. Because of fearing hurt, you close the door of your heart. Anxiety has deceived you. It promised protection, but in reality, it brought confinement. It turned your vast life into a cramped room where everything is familiar but confining. So where is the exit? The solution is not building more walls of control, but release. Redefine letting go. I will not let fear shape the framework of my life for another day. The Buddha taught that you cannot both hold everything tight in your hands and wish for those hands to be free to receive new things. Imagine you are standing in a river. If you try to use your bare hands to scoop water and hold it tight, the water will flow away, leaving only fatigue. But when you relax, when you trustingly lean back and surrender to the flow, the river will support and carry you to new horizons. Letting go is not a passive or weak act. On the contrary, it is an extremely powerful act. When you put down fear, you are clearing a vast space in your mind. And it is in that empty space that courage has room to sprout, creativity has room to soar, and love has room to rush in. To begin this transformation, tonight, ask yourself two important questions. First, today, how much precious energy did I waste just worrying about things I cannot change? And second, what would happen if that energy source were used to create, to connect, and to trust? A person's growth is not measured by what they can hold on to, but by what they dare to let go of to become greater. Lesson 7. Step aside for life to flow. Part 1. The Paradox of Interference. My dear friend, there is a central message I want to convey to you in this final part. Life begins to flow when we step aside. We have been taught since childhood that safety equals control. We are programmed to believe that if we don't interfere to arrange everything, life will fall into chaos. Therefore, we learn to analyze every conversation, predict every problem, and force every result to happen according to our will. But look back. What has that effort to control brought you? Is it peace? Or is it being drained? We are tired not because life is too heavy, but because we are trying to carry tasks that do not belong to us. Imagine your life as a clear, flowing stream. Every anxiety, every calculation of control is like a boulder you throw into the stream bed. One stone is okay, but day after day, you throw down thousands of stones of fear. The flow is blocked, the water becomes cloudy and chaotic. Your task right now is not to try to push the water to flow faster, but to stop throwing stones into the river. When you remove the mind's crude interferences, the water will automatically become clear again and flow peacefully forward. Part 2. Practice identifying grasping. To truly step aside, first you need to identify where you are blocking the way. Observe the smallest actions in your day. Are you constantly checking your phone every 5 minutes, waiting for a reply message? That is control. Are you lying in bed replaying a conversation that ended yesterday, trying to figure out what you should have said correctly? That is interference with the past. Are you rushing to make a bad decision just because you fear that if you delay, you will lose the opportunity? That is lack of trust in timing. The moment you realize you are tensing up, ask yourself, what if I did what's necessary and then let go? Part 3. The Art of Non-Interference. Buddhism calls this the wisdom of Wu Wei, Vo Vi, action in accordance with nature without force. Please don't misunderstand. Non-interference does not mean being heartless or lazy. It means you know clearly what is your part of the work and what is the universe's part. Look at the image of the gardener. Your part is to sow seeds, water, and weed. But the part of making the seed sprout leaves, and bloom belongs to heaven and earth, to sun and rain and time. You cannot use your hands to pull the plant top up to force it to grow faster. If you do so, the plant will die. That interference is violence, not love. Or imagine a butterfly landing on your hand. If you want to possess that beauty and clench your hand, you will crush its fragile wings, or it will be frightened and fly away. But if you open your palm, stay still and do not interfere, the butterfly might stay longer. And even if it flies away, you smile knowing it is free, and it might return. Apply this mindset to every aspect, to relationships, to work goals, and even to your own peace. Everything needs space to breathe. When you step back, you are giving others and life space to operate in the best way. Part 4. When the flow is cleared. When you start practicing stepping aside, a miraculous transformation will occur. You will start noticing synchronicities. Support from unexpected places will appear. Opportunities come at strangely right times without you having to force them. That is the sign that you have stopped clogging the flow. Your body will also feel this. Your shoulders drop. Your chest opens. Breath becomes gentle and deep. You shift from fight mode to receive mode. Conclusion. Riding the waves. My dear friend, Engrave this final philosophy. You are not here to control the ocean, only to learn how to ride its waves. The ocean of life is sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. You cannot command the waves to stop crashing, but you can learn to balance on a surfboard. Your role is to prepare skills, keep a steadfast mind, and do your best in the present. As for how far the wave will take you, let life write that story itself. When you stop playing the God managing the universe, you will return to being a free human. And believe me, the plan life has for you is often much grander and more interesting than the narrow scripts your anxiety can draw. Step aside, breathe lightly, and let life flow through you. My dear friend, life is not a riddle forcing you to exhaust yourself finding the right or wrong answer. Life is a piece of music, rhythms. We live not to solve it, but to listen and harmonize with it. Remember this balanced message: care, but don't carry. You can love deeply without having to carry the whole world on your shoulders. Letting go is not abandoning life, but choosing a lighter mindset for the long journey. Our channel is a home of mindfulness, healing, and transforming anxieties. Every video made is a sincere invitation, helping you return to precious presence. If you find peace here, please press the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so we don't lose each other on this journey of awakening. Thank you for listening and trusting. Take a deep breath and walk gently in peace. Goodbye and see you again.